We're here today with our Spartan webinar series. We're going to be diving into digital currency today. We have Lori Souza with us. We were introduced to Lori through a conference that both her and Lindsay, our CEO, spoke at a little while ago. And Lindsay was intrigued with Lori and the topics that she brings. And so we wanted to kind of dive into that a little bit more. And personally, I'm definitely a rookie when it comes to this. So I'm excited to learn more today too. So Lori, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the digital currency world and what's got you so excited about it.
No, well, thank you for having me here. I'm really glad to be sharing information about digital currencies. It is a mystery money, right? But how did I get into it? My background, I have two careers that I have been through. And the first one was in engineering and technology. And that was when the computer was coming out. And so I
Yeah.
spent a lot of time in product development and understanding technical support and technology and the buildup of a computer. But then in the .com recession, I was laid off from that career and started a whole new career. And I took my hobby and made it a business. And that was I became a real estate broker. So I really am interested in real estate investments and grew a brokerage and did that for 20 years. Well, I started to see inflation creep in about 2016, 2017. And at that time, a friend of mine had told me about Bitcoin. And he says, wow, this is a hedge against inflation. It's kind of like digital gold. And it clicked working in the markets and understanding investments and where we were going with inflation. Wow, it's time to take a serious look at this. So I started studying it 2017, 18. By 2019, I was convinced I got to tell everybody about this because this is an opportunity of a lifetime where people can actually store money digitally and like digital gold, where you're not tied to a bank and you get your own platform, your own wallet, and you become your own sovereign wealth holder, so to speak. So I wanted to make sure that I really learned enough about it, and I started developing some classes and understanding blockchain and what that is too, because it goes along with it.
Oh yeah,
It's a
there's
whole new
a lot to it.
yeah, there's a whole lot of financial technology is what it is. And so we see the governments are adopting these technologies and actually changing UCC code because of the digital currencies. So it's really moving along, and yeah, so I'm glad to be here and share. And I think it's just going to be you're going to ask me some questions, and we'll go from there. How's that?
Yeah. We'll try not to grill you too much. We'll keep it light, just for people wanting to really understand. But what a perfect background to really set you up for success. The technology, the real estate, and now your expertise in digital currency. So I'm loving that. So just high level, give us a little bit of information, explain digital currency and how we can use it in everyday life. Give us a little bit of a breakdown of what it is and how it relates to everyday and how it maybe will in the future even more.
Yeah, so right now, we're all using our cell phones. I'm just going to high level. We're all using our cell phones. We all have different banks that we bank with. All our banks have apps in which we can go ahead and move money and pay bills on our phone.
Yeah.
Well, the technology with digital currencies is removing the bank, and you get to actually bank on your own platform. You deposit your money on your own platform. So knowing that technology exists right now, you see different apps come up like Chime app, Cash app, and PayPal. Those aren't associated with banks, but they are platforms. They're financial platforms. So now we're going to take it a step further and say, okay, when you deposit your money with an institution, is your money really yours? And in our central banking system right now, the banks are only obligated to hold 10% of our money. So if I go to the bank today and I deposit $100, only $10 out of that $100 required for the bank to hold. That's their reserve, 10%. So the rest of the money is moved around the central banking system and secondary markets. So high-level investors can invest and in the stock market or in their REITs or wherever they're investing their money. And then they move it back into the bank when the consumer is ready to withdraw. So we see a lot of movement in our currency. That's why they call it currency, because it's a current of money. It's moving around, being invested and making money for those who are investing with it. Now let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not like that. Bitcoin doesn't move around. You are the holder of it. It just pretend as a bar of gold. Once you buy a bar of gold and you hold it, it's yours. You can put it in under your mattress. You can put it in your safety deposit box. With Bitcoin, once you buy it, it's yours. You can put it in your digital wallet and you store it in your digital wallet. That digital wallet can go in your safety deposit box or under your mattress, the same thing. But we don't physically see it, so it makes it difficult to understand. And there's a whole background of technology that goes along with it, but that's the top level concept of Bitcoin. And there's a lot of different digital currencies, but I'd like to stick with Bitcoin because it has already been classified with the government as a commodity. So it is accepted as money in the United States. In July of 2020, there was a bill passed that accepted Bitcoin as a form of money, and they're calling it a crypto commodity.
Oh, wow. I love that. That's really,
Yeah.
really good information. And it's so, I love how you put it in layman's terms. It's, because there's so many videos and there's so much information out there that can just really confuse you more about it. So hearing it like that is just, whoa, it clicks. So yeah, that's really great. And it is alarming, with the banks are only required to keep 10% of the funds that you deposit. Hearing that is kind of alarming too. And it really ties to one of our questions today. And I don't know if you want to go ahead and we'll go ahead and skip to this question just because you just mentioned it, but the SVB bank collapse and how this relates to digital currency. Because you just mentioned it, I think it ties perfectly into the next line of questioning. And, people are more skeptical than ever really of the banking system and the institutions themselves. So
yeah. And it is. Yeah, thanks for asking that question. The banks have been moving money around, and it is our financial system, the central banking system, and we adopted it back in the 1930s. So back before, if we go back in history, before the 1930s, banks were decentralized. So banks were their own sovereign building, their own sovereign organization. Different states had different banks, and individuals, communities would deposit money, and the communities would, that bank would grow through the depositors within that community. Now we have such big conglomerate banks that we all trust and rely on because we're in a centralized system, that the money is moving constantly in this new centralized, well, new as of 1930s, centralized system. But we forgot that the bank started out to be decentralized, and that's what the Constitution had required as well. And so now when we look at it and say, okay, wow, this money is moving around. Well, if it doesn't go back into the bank, then its depositors aren't going to have the money to withdraw when they're ready to withdraw it. And that's what happens with these bank collapse. And we saw over 1,000 banks close their doors in 2008 when the real estate recession hit. They didn't have enough money that was coming back into the bank because of all the depositors that were foreclosing, just didn't have the funds. And so they couldn't take care of their debts. So when we look at that system that we have today, our current financial system, governments are realizing, and in the US, that there's a need for change. And that's why they're looking at the UCC code changing an Amendment 12 that says that they're going to accept digital currencies for transactions. Now, there's a whole lot packed into that because there's a whole lot of digital currencies. I like to stick with Bitcoin because it was the first
Hmm.
Digital currency built on blockchain technology. Now, blockchain technology, I'm not going to go in the technical part of it, but that's a technology that's decentralized. So if now I'll go real simple terms. If I'm a parent and I'm taking my kids to Chuck E. Cheese, I can't use dollars. I can only use the Chuck E. Cheese tokens, right?
Yep.
And so they hand out tokens there, and they created their own little ecosystem with their own money. And that's what Bitcoin is doing. It's creating its own ecosystem by the users who use it. And the checks, what makes it a beautiful thing, the checks and balances are built in the technology. So the people who are checking to verify the transactions are valid in Bitcoin are the people who are using it. So you get a valid transaction, a valid digital transaction with checks and balances built in, and through a consensus of its community.
Love that. I think I love the way that you're explaining it. It just is so relevant, and it makes so much sense hearing it like that. And the fact that we can be our own checks and balances system, it's just, it feels like, why didn't we think of this sooner? Right. And it's so relevant today with how, with what's going on in the, financial economy, and with the way that it is right now. So I love that. But there are, there is a lot going on in the news, both positive and negatives. There's pros and cons to everything, right? So tell us about some of the misconceptions out there about digital currency, and what people may think of it from the outside that may not be actually true.
Yeah. So the news is giving it a bad rap, and that is basically because the central banking system has really funded most of our commerce, or all of our commerce. So Bitcoin is a threat to that system. When we say digital currencies, there's 5 types of digital currencies today. So Bitcoin is just one of them. Governments are coming in, and well, let's say the US is wanting to adopt its own digital currency. So that is turning the paper dollar into a digital dollar. So what that does is, because it would be digital, every transaction it's got its own built-in checks and balances, and it is able to be seen. Every transaction is able to be seen. So there is some digital currency that has some aspects of centralization, where Bitcoin does not. It's an anonymous transaction, and it can be held, but it can be held by the owner, and it belongs to the owner. So the biggest misconception, okay, people need to know the difference between centralized and decentralized money. And when you buy Bitcoin, there's 2 places you can buy it. You can buy it either on an exchange. Okay, today, that's where you get it, on exchange. Tomorrow, you're going to be able to get it from the banks. The banks are all getting ready to set it up to be custody holders of Bitcoin. But today, you can buy it from an exchange, or you can buy it from another person and hold it in your wallet. And so when you hold it in your wallet, you own it 100%. But exchanges are the misconception right now. People think, okay, I'm going to buy cryptocurrency, I'm going to buy it from an exchange, and I'm going to leave it on the exchange. Well, FTX is a big cryptocurrency exchange that just folded. And so a lot of the news went into that as well, because they did the same thing that the SVB did. They didn't have enough money to pay all their depositors. So when you leave your money in an exchange, it's like leaving it in a bank. Okay, you don't hold it. The bank or the exchange is the custody holder of it. You have entrusted them to take custody of your money, whether it's the dollar, or whether it's a Bitcoin, or whether it's another digital currency, let's say Ethereum, which is the second largest one. So that's the misconception, is some people feel safe when, and the thing is because it's decentralized money, there's no FDIC insurance. So if the exchange collapses, then it's the same thing as a bank closing.
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. Poof.
Yeah.
So how easy is it to, I'm going off script a little here. This is just from
Yeah.
me hearing what you have to say, but how easy is it to move the currency from the exchange to your wallet? So what
Very
would
easy.
the advantages to be leaving it in the exchange versus putting it in your wallet, and how do you do that?
Yeah. So the exchanges have made it very easy to purchase cryptocurrency and trade cryptocurrency or digital currencies. Uh, and it's just as easy as when you go to the bank. I like to think of it in layman's terms. When we go to the bank and we go to make a withdrawal, and let's say you get cash from the banker and you put the cash in your wallet.
Yeah.
You don't leave your cash sitting there on the counter. You don't say, okay, thank you, I withdrew my money, I'm going to leave it here. Right. So when we're traveling into a different country and we exchange our currency for a different currency, you go to a currency exchange counter, currency exchange booth, or currency exchange company. When you exchange your currency, you don't leave it sitting there in the exchange counter. So the smart thing to do is you take your money you got from the exchange and you put it in your wallet or your purse, right? Well,
Yeah.
now we've digitized that wallet, we've digitized that purse. And so now it's an app or a QR code. It's using QR code technology, really. And so you actually move it into your wallet. All exchanges allow you to do that. That's just part of what you do. So when you exchange your dollar for a certain digital currency, now you take that digital currency and you move it into your private wallet, your own wallet that you own and that you keep either on your computer or your phone.
Love that. Just as easy as initiating a transfer. It's easy peasy. Keep it
That's
safe and
right.
secure. I agree with you. If you want it in your hands, you don't want to leave it on the counter.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So, okay. So you have a heavy real estate background, brokerage for 20 years. That's really great experience. Now you've got all this really great knowledge as well. So put those together for us. Obviously, we're in real estate, so we understand that side very well. How would you relate digital currency to real estate, and how do you see these two forms of investments working and connecting in the future together?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, I can tell you that I'm working with a group. I belong to a couple of real estate and blockchain groups in the US and worldwide. There's an organization called the Foundation for International Blockchain and Real Estate, which is a wonderful organization. I'm also part of a Florida Bitcoin Business Association, where we have legislation going in about real estate adopting blockchain technology, the decentralized technology that Bitcoin is built on, adopting blockchain technology to put titles and deeds. And so that's one way that we see in the future. We're going to digitize our basically our clerk of the courts, right? Where we're going to Congress to talk about how can we take this information, all this database of titles, and keep them so nobody tampers with them. So it's tamper proof. Well, blockchain technology allows that to happen, and it gives a history, a chain of title. So blockchain technology, you can always go back into the past and see the digital footprint. Nobody can change it. Once it's in the blockchain, it stays there. Nobody changes it. Nobody erases a zero or changes a name. So title records are really important in this technology, this future, or this financial technology of the future. I can tell you personally, I bought a Bitcoin when it was $650, and
Wow.
when it went up to 15,000, and that was 4 years ago. When it went up to 15,000, I actually used it as a down payment for a property. So
Oh my
it's
gosh,
like,
that is
okay,
so
great.
cool.
Now I
Yeah.
can use this and buy real estate. So a lot of people you're going to find in the future who are depositing money into Bitcoin are going to have the store of wealth in the future, so that they will be able to invest in real estate. Yeah, more so.
That
And
is really cool.
yeah, also working with in this real estate group I belong to, there's a group called Millennial Title, and they are built around accepting crypto payments. So there's languaging in the contract, and plus we also have the Good Funds Act in the U.S. The Good Funds Act is really important that we follow in real estate, which is the title companies can only accept either an earnest, they can either accept a cashier's check or a wire. Those are the only two forms that somebody can send to a title company to use for a valid down payment or valid purchase of a property. But with our new UCC code coming in saying digital currencies are going to be accepted, this changes everything. And the title companies really ought to take a look at, how they're going to be able to accept those. And so with Millennial Title, they've already set it up so they can make those transfers for their clients so that we can still follow the rules of the Good Funds Act.
Yeah,
because we do still have to follow the laws, the Bank Secrecy Act and the any anti-money laundering. All of that has to be upfront. But where you store your money is all up to us, right? Where we store our money. So now that they're noticing that, that's why we have the UCC code changes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That is all really, it's just mind blowing. But that is kudos to them for getting ahead of that trend and really setting up for success there to be a leader in the market. And I mean, when you think about it, real estate is one of the biggest purchases of your life. So being able to combine that technology with that large purchase is really exciting that it's in the works. And man, I could tell you it'd be a whole lot easier in property management if everybody would just pay their rent with digital currency than bringing in rent checks every month that we have to post. So I could definitely get on board with the digital transfer. That would make our lives a lot easier for sure.
Right. And a lot of people already do set up the digital bill pay where you don't even hold money. You're just transferring it from one institution to another. And so when we realize that's what we're already doing, we're doing the digital transfers.
It feels less scary,
Yeah. And, basically it used to be, I have to sit down and pay my bills, and you write out checks and then you mail them and you put the stamp on the envelope. Well, a lot of people, there's some baby boomers that still like to do that. Right. And, occasionally we still have to do that. But I was thinking the other day, I can't remember the last time I wrote a check because everything's digital. Oh, I'll Zelle you money. Right. So everything's digitized already. Now we're looking at, do you trust the institution that the money is in and who you're sending it to? And with digital currency is you are your own institution. With Bitcoin, you're the one that chooses where you're sending that money.
Yeah, love that. Yeah. That's awesome. So leave us with, why should the common investor, why should, the common person really, you don't really even have to be an investor. This is the wave of the future. It seems like. Leave us with some expert advice. If I'm somebody who does not own any and has not even thought about, dipping my toe into that water, where do I start? What do you recommend, to really start getting into this and start investing in this?
Great question. I'm glad you asked. So for anybody listening, listen really good. If somebody told you to buy stock of IBM back in, let's see, 1997, and you had no idea who IBM was, you had no idea the personal computer was going to go in everybody's home or in everybody's hand, would you have bought stock in IBM? And what financial position would you be in today if you did, right? So I'm telling you, Bitcoin is right now, we're at the early adoption phase. And because it's anti-inflationary, meaning that we have a limited supply, this program that has been developed on the blockchain only has 21 million Bitcoin. That's it. So the beauty of it is digital money is that the smallest denomination of this isn't just 0.01, which is a penny, right? A penny is just 0.01. The smallest denomination, and what makes it anti-inflationary, is it goes all the way 0.000001. You could buy as little as you have. If you have $5, you can buy $5 worth of Bitcoin. So I recommend for those who are starting out investing, take $100 a month out of your paycheck, convert it from dollars to Bitcoin. It's a small amount that you can say you're actually investing in your future. Because there's a limited supply, the value is going up.
Mhm.
There's no doubt about it. Okay. And with banks adopting this technology, it's a no-brainer investment.
Yeah.
If you're an investor and you're looking to invest in any digital currency, yeah, there's a lot of them that say, oh, this one's going to skyrocket. This one's going to go up. I'm going to be a millionaire tomorrow. Well, if you're looking for long-term store of value, I recommend you buy Bitcoin. There's only 21 million, and there's already 18.5 million of those in circulation or claimed. So when the supply is done, it's done. And so smaller denominations will be worth more, meaning the value is going to go up. So for your future self and your kids are never going to go walking into the bank, or your grandkids, they're not going to have the buildings to walk into. They're going to have the digital apps.
Mhm.
Think about it. They don't need to go into the bank at all. So the digital apps and the Bitcoin system, uh, the World Economic Forum is also looking at this too as part of the UN sustainability goals of 2030 to make it global money. So if you knew this today, and you know there's a limited supply, and anything that has a limited supply, if you take economics, the value goes up. When
Mhm.
demand goes up, the value is going to go up. Buy Bitcoin.
Early
Buy
adoption.
Bitcoin. Keep it in your wallet. You might buy it on exchange, but that's one thing I do is I share with people some real valid wallets out there, because there are scams.
Yeah.
There are people taking advantage of individuals who don't understand this
There's
technology. And
successes, there's scammers. Where there are where there are good things to do,
yeah,
there are scammers too. I love that. So yeah, please let us know what those great places would be to go and start this journey.
yeah. So I would say if anybody is interested in downloading a wallet into their phone or on their computer, a company that we work with, we actually are partners with, is Edge Wallet. They're very good, robust. You can buy on the wallet and you can hold on the wallet as well. And Edge Wallet's very good. Um, so you want, when you're looking at downloading wallets, or maybe you had somebody that told you about, oh, this exchange, basically you need to investigate those exchanges before you put money in an exchange, or before you, here's some big scams out there on Telegram and on WhatsApp. Anybody who on it says, give me your WhatsApp number, and then you join a group, and then an investment group said, wow, I made 1,000% on my money. You really be wary of them. If you don't know who you're doing business with, you got to look at who's tried and true. And that's something that I share with the people that I work with or who give me a call. Absolutely want to see you succeed and not get taken for, which a lot of
Absolutely.
people do.
So use the tried and time rule. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. So
Yeah.
use the stuff that we know works. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. We are so
You're welcome.
excited that you're going to be leading a workshop for us at our 2023 Spartan Summit that we're hosting in Huntsville this year, which I'm so excited about. I love Huntsville, and I love that we're adding new, opportunities for investors to learn how to invest in other things in addition to real estate. Just really, it's all about content and educational content and opening up people's minds to different opportunities out there. So Lori is going to be joining us for a workshop. If you are interested in learning more about this, or you know a little bit and you want to dive a little bit deeper into the weeds, I'm sure that Lori, you could talk about it all day. It sounds like there's so much info and there's so much to learn, and there's probably going to be more to even learn by the time October rolls around. And,
Yeah.
there's a lot of developments happening every single day. So if y'all want to join us at our Spartan Summit, we are running our early bird promo right now, all capital letters, early bird, for a 15% off of your registration. So get in now so that way you can sign up for Lori's workshop. But Lori, is there anything else that you'd like to share with us today, or? We
Wow.
cover the high level? I feel like I know a lot more, that's for sure.
Well, good, good. And yeah, absolutely. I mean, you think about, if you're points in time where we are, points in history, you'll look back at this time and say, gosh, I wish I would have bought Bitcoin. And, people who said, oh, it's too expensive now, I should have bought it back when it was 10 cents. Well, it's still in early adoption phase. And in anything, we still have some time to go before it ramps up again. And stay at a higher value. So anyway, yeah, thank you for having me here. I look forward to the summit as well. And I do have a workshop talking about the different types of digital currencies to help people understand what all is out there. So
Yeah, that's
yeah.
awesome. We can't wait to learn more and be able to follow you, and look forward to meeting you in person, and just really connecting more on the topic. So, all right. Well, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.